Testing, testing. Are we live? Am I live out there? Okay, can we end the stream then? 1 second. Okay, good. I'm just trying to entertain him somehow. Oh, I am live? Oh, hey guys, we're live. So we have internet issues here at the office today. Welcome to the game plan as always. I'm just was doing a little song and dance for you guys before, but in any case, welcome to the game plan, guys. Again, we got internet issues here. I'm going to see if I can even trade today because the internet is so spotty over here. So we've called the company here for the internet, and hopefully they'll get us figured out here in just a little bit. But on that note, let's get into the action. We have a big week today, folks. So number one, when we take a look at the S&P 500 here, let's go to the pre-market data. We can see that the markets are trending slightly higher. Should anyone out there be even remotely surprised at that? And the answer is no. Why? Well, because that's the way the market works right now. The market just grinds up because of 6 stocks, right? So 6 stocks, the big mega caps continue to move up. Nvidia's up today, Microsoft, Apple, they're up. So the market's up. Even Meta, which had a big day on Friday, is trading up this morning pre-market. Taiwan Semi got some good upgrade action from Morgan Stanley, although I will say it has a negative divergence on the weekly, the daily, and the monthly time frame. So watch for that. That's something big. I think we're getting close to the end of this euphoria stage before something bigger occurs. Okay. So S&P spiders, the spiders again slightly higher on the day here. I do want to just go over a couple things. I always like to go over this kind of stuff here, folks. If we flip over to our homepage here, what we can see here, if we scroll down, we can see that there is something new on the homepage. And what we can see, this is your new addition. Very happy to have this. This is the insider buying and selling. It is available on the homepage here of Verified Investing. And what you can do is you can actually click on it and go to just the buys, just the sells. But the idea is this gives us a good basis for understanding what insiders are doing. What's Jeff Bezos doing? What's Benioff doing? What's Zuckerberg doing? All of these insiders, are they buying or selling? Now, obviously, it looks like heavy red. Notice how over here it's starting to get lighter and lighter because we're entering a blackout period. We're going into earnings where insiders are not allowed to sell. So I believe if the earnings are 30 days out or more, they're still allowed to. But once they're within that 30-day period, they're not allowed to until after they report earnings. And so that's why it's so heavy here, is because, again, this is 30 days prior to a lot of these earnings announcements. And then once you get over here, more and more companies are entering into their quiet blackout periods. Okay. So on that note, just a couple tidbits there. If we scroll down, there's lots of good information here. I wrote about Taiwan Semi today. You guys can check out this. Inflation, Japan's real wages fall for the 26th month in a row. That's basically telling you that import prices are going up for them because the yen is declining. I've talked about with you guys the dollar yen so much. And again, we are seeing that coming into play here where the dollar yen's weakness is causing inflation. And basically, the Japanese are making less and less money month after month because inflation is so high. And this is unfortunately what we're going to see more and more around the world. Debt numbers are so high, there's no other ways to do it. You either monetize your debt by printing money, or you just sit back and watch your currency get debased and all these other factors out there. But just something to watch right there. Okay, so a couple things I want to go over as we get back to the charts. I do want to touch base on a couple key trend lines here. We have Tesla, which had another small update on Friday. There's a lot of resistance right up here, guys. I have a triple threat, what I call a triple threat, when 3 moving averages or 3 trend lines coexist in the same level. And what we see right here, these trend lines going up right into current price. And so if I zoom out, look at where these things come from. So again, I'm in the camp, and I am short Tesla. I am looking for a pullback. Remember, I'm a swing trader, so it has nothing to do with what I feel about Tesla over the next year, 2 years, 5 years. They could be the biggest company in the world for all I know, or care. It's ultimately just looking at the chart, looking at the metrics, and looking for the short-term move, which I expect to be down. If we do flip to the intraday chart, we are seeing some weakness this morning. The stock trading down almost $3.50 here pre-market. It's not a big move yet, but we'll see if it kind of accelerates to the downside just a little bit more. All right, we obviously had a lot of action in crypto. We'll get to that point here in just a minute. I do want to just talk about some other key news points here out there. I mentioned Taiwan Semi. Taiwan Semi, again, getting an upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley, I think it's Charlie Chen or Chan or something like that. He basically said that he expects Taiwan Semi to be able to raise prices, and their earnings should be very solid. Demand is staying strong. So the stock here is up. But what I like to do is I like to go to the daily chart here and look at things, okay? And when we look at the daily chart, we can see it's upwards of this trend line. But let's redraw. Let's see exactly what we're seeing here on the chart. So if we zoom out and we go to our monthly chart, one of the things we can see is look at how many green months in a row Taiwan Semi has had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row straight to the upside. This means it is getting overbought. What I like to do is I like to say, okay, it looks overbought, but that doesn't mean I take a trade on it. But what we do is we add our RSI in there, our RSI, and we start looking for divergences. And on the monthly chart, we can see here a negative divergence forming. So here's your previous high. Here was your RSI, right? Here is your current high, which is higher, but your RSI is lower, right? You have a lower RSI on the monthly here. So that's a negative divergence. And again, negative divergences, again, don't give you an exact entry price. They give you generally a general bias, a probability. And so this is telling us that the monthly is telling us it's overbought, and it likely will trade down. What I like to do then is I like to go to my other time frames. We look at our weekly. Our weekly also has a negative RSI divergence. So we take a shorter term high right here to the current highs up here, and we can see that you also have a negative divergence right here, a little bit of a downslope trend line right there. And then we can even go even smaller to the daily chart. And the daily chart has a very distinctive RSI. We just look at a high from just a couple weeks ago. In fact, that was a topping tail right there. And we take that high and that RSI high, and very clearly, we're not even at 70. We probably breached 70 today with the gap up, but here again, with the gap up, will be higher high, right up in this range, and likely a lower high as well. So little things like that you pay attention to as a trader. It doesn't, again, make you say, oh, I'm definitely taking a trade, but it's giving you more probabilities. And when you look for a chart setup, you look for a topping tailored engulfing reversal candle, stuff like we've seen on NVIDIA lately, or the semis overall with those big reversal engulfing candles that can mark a physical top in the chart. All right, so that's your Taiwan Semi. I do want to just mention that I still think Taiwan Semi has a little bit more upside. The reason I think that is because it's trading at a $945 billion market cap before today's gap up. And chances are it's going to want to touch 1 trillion. So I think you'll get the headlines on CNBC, the mainstream media pumping it, the pom-poms out, jumping jacks, whatever you want to call it. And then once you get that, it'll be kind of the last burst of bullishness, and you'll get a correction following that. And I think it has to be up about 6% for that to happen. So look for a move up of about 6% today, maybe tomorrow, $1 trillion tagged, and then the reversal can take place, or at least the beginning of it. All right, so what we want to do now, folks, as we continue in here, I do want to do our spin. So let's do our spin on our wheel of appreciation. All right, and what we'll do here is, again, I believe last week it was TradingView on Friday, so we were going to give away 1 free year of TradingView to 1 lucky winner that's been sharing the streams and has been a follower of Verified Investing on YouTube or on Twitter. So here we go. Let's see who is that winner, and we'll get right to it. All right. So let's go here, guys, and see what we have. And there it is. Tia, go, whatever. I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try. All right, you see your name up there. If your name is up here, congratulations. You get a 1-year subscription to TradingView. Please reach out to support@verifiedinvesting.com to claim it, and we will make sure it gets credited to your account. Or if you don't have a TradingView account, you can then have one created, and we'll give you that year of service. All right, over here, let's go over and spin our wheel of appreciation one more time here as we go here. Nice. There you go. This is a hot commodity right now, and by commodity I mean crypto, guys. So 3 months of smart money crypto, and the reason why this is so hot is because basically Thursday into Friday, we were buying crypto like crazy. I already unloaded 4 winners just over the weekend. We're in the money on a majority of the other trades. That includes Ethereum long from basically just above 2,800 was the entry level for members. This has been knocking it out of the park. So again, the beautiful thing about this is that it's all based on charts and data. And that's the big difference here. There's no hype. There's no BS. Remember, crypto is so pumpy and dumpy out there that it really honestly hurts a lot of you guys out there that kind of follow the influencers on Twitter or X or any of the social media platforms. What I do is literally, it's where's the chart? What's the levels? How many factors do we have? What's the probability? Okay, probabilities now favor strongly a move in this direction. We position ourselves accordingly. And that's what's so cool about it. So someone will win that 3-month tomorrow. Let's come right back here, guys. I'm not sure if we have that commercial for Lux Algo, but we're going to give it a shot. Lux Algo, guys, is an amazing sponsor here. And I do want to just take 30 seconds to thank them so much for being one of our top sponsors here at Verified Investing. Their link is right below. Remember, Lux Algo is really cool because they do these technical factors. They basically have scanners, and the scanners pick up great probability trades as well. Honestly, they go hand in hand with what verified investing is all about. So here's the commercial. We'll talk to you in 30 seconds. Okay. Are going to run into probability-based resistance. And resistance means that price is going to get rejected there. What we'll watch for as technicians is, does it get rejected like this and then break out? Or does it get rejected and go back down to these lows and potentially lower? So that's going to be my short-term upside target. I do think we get that target over the next 1 week or less. But then the big question is, and this is something that I don't even know at this point, is where does it go once it hits 60,000? So I'll be looking for 60,000 and we'll go from there. Ethereum, let's look at Ethereum here, ETH USD. And Ethereum, guys, did come into that key level of support. This is, again, why probabilities favor to buy in smart money crypto, which is on verified investing. What we can see very clearly is we have this level, right through here, right through these lows. And price came right into that zone. So there's your zone. That was a high probability zone. Short-term oversold to the downside. Price retracing and negating the entire ETF hype that came out that drove it sharply higher. That's usually a retrace, what we would call to the scene of the crime where that ETF news hit. And therefore you get a good support. Right now, I find myself in the money on this by about $225 or so on the trade, which is great. I still think there's potential upside right to here. So this area, see these lows, how you came down constantly right here, right into this area, that's going to be your technical level. It also coexists right with that level there. So you're looking for about a 33.50 high before this runs into major resistance on Ethereum. All right, next up, let's take a look at the gold trade here. Now, gold's an interesting one, guys, because gold actually did confirm a breakout. I'm going to call it a minor breakout. Really, a major breakout will be when it takes out this zone right up here, right? This high and this high. But at least in terms of the wedge pattern, we closed above, didn't confirm, and confirmed, so you now have a confirmed short-term breakout. What this means is this now becomes a buy zone on gold, right? Now, by the way, it doesn't mean that gold can't go below here and break the support, but we're just looking purely at probabilities. And right now, you went from something that was much more bearish here, which was favoring this move, to a switch up where it got above, confirmed. Now you look to buy resistance for the next leg to the upside. And this is, again, what's so important here is to understand that the charts are the charts. The charts tell me. I don't tell the charts, right? I just look at the pattern and I say, okay, what based on these factors are probabilities? And when probabilities shift, my job is to report to you those shifts so that we are all on the cutting edge edge of the most likely move in gold over the next 1 week, 1 month period. And remember, I always tell you my bias. My bias on the midterm is up, long term is up. Shorter term, that's the one that can move up and down depending on these shorter term chart setups and physical patterns. Okay, looking at silver, same kind of deal here, guys. If we look at silver, you can see a nice little up move here. We've had a nice little uptick. Same thing, it confirmed outside of this trend line here and these two trend lines here. So we have confirmed, which same thing as gold. It becomes a buying opportunity here. If we bring up that drawing tool again here, any sort of pullback into this zone right here, that should be an opportunity to be a buyer. So you're looking at about basically $29 retrace to 29 bucks or so. That would be a good opportunity. Okay, so next up, let's look at oil. Now, oil's an interesting one here. Take a look at this, guys. So you guys know I haven't been shy about saying that I believe, and I've put money on the line here. I've shorted oil right up in this zone here, right? This is what we call that three-peat or three major trend lines converging. This should be major resistance, and I said that to you guys in the last couple game plans as well. Well, all of a sudden, oil's starting to creep to the downside here. So that looks like it's starting to play out. And again, remember, it's not that I know anything you guys don't know. Well, in a way I do, but it's not like it's insider information. It's what the charts are just telling me. And if you guys learn the charts, you guys can exactly do these same sort of calls as I do, which is what verified investing is all about. Education, right? So much education in these game plans, in the services that I run all over the website. So again, the idea here is we're probably starting our down move. You will have a lot of support here for a bounce, but I still think you ultimately are headed lower. The thesis for this, so by the way, the thesis for the up move, and I said this, hedge funds were way over short. So as hedge funds cover their shorts, which is big money covering, it drives oil up. You then get, as price goes up, more hedge funds to cover. Now they're right at these highs. There was basically back in balance. Oil shorts versus longs were back in balance. That means it can now behave based on macroeconomics. So now that you have that out of the way, macroeconomics take over, and what do we know? Japan's suffering, China's still suffering, U.S. economic data is starting to weaken, which what do we know should do that? What should happen to oil? Oil should start to trade to the downside. So just that simple, right? It's just kind of understanding these little nuances here and there, and then looking at the macro data with the chart setups here. All right, lastly, I just want to touch on natural gas. Natural gas is getting a small bounce here. I do have a target zone here if it reverses where I'm an interested buyer. This is my target zone right down here between 225 and 215. You are getting a little bit of a bounce today. It was down 9 straight days in a row, so it makes sense that you could get a little relief rally. But for me, I'm going to stay disciplined. If it comes to my level, my calculated probability level, I take a trade. Otherwise, I sit on the sidelines. Remember, folks, there's always things. The market tries to push you to make an emotional decision. And if it does, chances are you're going to lose. If you stick to your guns and you remain as disciplined as possible, you will ultimately make money, not on every trade, but on a high probability amount of trades or a high number of trades. And so that's really what it comes down to. And by the way, sometimes I act emotionally myself. We're not devoid of it, right? We're all human. We all act because of emotion. I've just limited it as much as possible, and I'm still working on it to this day to kind of only let the charts tell me when to take a trade, not let other things influence like social media, mainstream media, etc. So that's the key. Always remember that, guys. Use the data. Try to shut off the emotion, the heart, the brain, whatever you want. Just say, what is the data telling me? And if you miss a trade, that's okay. I miss trades every single day. It's only about the ones I catch that matter. And that's the key is, can I just consistently make money on a few trades every day, day trading, and swing trading a few trades every week? All right. On that note, I got to get to the Apex Live Day Trading Room. I thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. I will be back bright and early tomorrow and also trading the close today at 3:55. Make sure to tune in. I will round up the entire market action and we'll go from there. You guys have a good one. Take care.